think a lot of times we focus on the vanity metrics when we don't understand the jargon. We don't feel confident. If we don't feel confident in the world of SEO, then we're going to focus on the vanity metric.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 185, and we know that the SEO game can feel like this really long waiting game. But there are ways to check if your efforts are actually paying off. And whether you've been optimizing your website for a while or you're just tipping your toes in, today we're going to walk you through the real signs that your SEO is working beyond just the vanity metrics and the rankings.
People love those vanity metrics.
Yes. And honestly, it can get really hard you get hung up on those because it's the only thing that you see regularly and it's the things that people talk about online. So it kind of can put this fear in you of like, well, my traffic is down, but that doesn't always tell the whole story of whether your SEO is actually working.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a vanity metric gal.
Yeah. In what life?
In everything. Yeah. No, it's just like you said, it's an easy thing to like see and it's an easy thing to track and change. And it's a thing that you can constantly see kind of moving, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad movement, you can constantly see it. Whereas like other things in the SEO world, you don't see as quickly.
Yeah.
And so those vanity metrics can sometimes give you that quick high that you need in entrepreneurship where that's where we get to focus on them, right? But like it shouldn't be the only thing we focus on, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram even changes it so that when you scroll your home feed, you see your views. You can turn it off if you want, but they give you the option to see it. Like, I think a lot of platforms and different marketing channels, they promote the vanity metrics because they're easy to see and it's almost like part of the addiction.
It's kind of a drug. I was just going to say, yeah, it's like that thing that like makes you keep coming back and like trying more or posting more or dancing on reels more because that's what you got to do, you know? And it is like a drug.
Yeah. So when it comes to SEO, I think a lot of times we focus on the vanity metrics when we don't understand the jargon and we don't feel confident. If we don't feel confident in the world of SEO, then we're going to focus on the vanity metrics or we're going to get hung up on almost like the imposter syndrome of the things people are talking about online or what people are sharing. Like, oh, I got this many inquiries from Google. I got this much website traffic. This blog is getting thousands of hits every week. Like you get hung up on those and then you think, oh, I'm not doing good enough because I'm not seeing those same metrics. So we're going to talk about what not to focus on and what to focus on and kind of how to track things for your business. So whether you feel confident or not, you can kind of use this as your guide to help you focus on the right things.
Love it.
So let's talk about what not to focus on. So the first thing I don't want you to focus on is overall, just when you look at your kind of traffic, people are looking at their positions of keywords. And, oh, I sit on page 1, position 3. I sit on page 2. Now I'm on page 6. And so you can use tools like Ubersuggest, like SEMrush, like Ahrefs. There are so many different tools out there. You can use tools to actually position track your keywords. Now, I like using position tracking when I'm meeting with people every couple weeks, every month, every quarter, because you can start to see trends in the data. Now, if you're looking at your position tracking daily, you're going to want to rip your hair out. Like that is just so incredibly stressful because it fluctuates so often. So there's this tool that's completely free, SEMrush Sensor, and we'll go ahead and link it in the show notes. It tells you how volatile the search engine is right now. So it will tell you if the rankings on Google are changing dramatically or not. When you go look at this, you will notice that it is almost always in the red. It is almost always a volatile like world out there in the search engine because they're constantly changing the algorithm, they're constantly updating it. And because of that, certain industries see fluctuations. So Google might decide, let's try this out for a day, see if it works. Oh, it didn't. So now let's try something else out for a day. And so things are constantly changing. And if you look at the overall trends, you can see, oh, I'm trending up or I'm trending down. If you're looking daily, those fluctuations are going to play a role in where you sit, and it's going to give you a false either sense of security or it's going to make you mad. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like looking at your 401k. You don't look every day.
Mm.
If you look every day and you're like, oh, I lost $1,000 today, and then you go look the next day and you got 10,000, like it creates this fear and also this like false sense of security that like, oh wow, I'm great. But then if you look at the next day, it's going to change. Like you want to look at the trends over time, not the daily changes. So that's number one. And go peek at that SEMrush sensor because if you are seeing, oh wow, there's so many changes and fluctuations that I'm seeing lately, it's likely because there's maybe an algorithm update. Like there's maybe a core algorithm update that Google is doing right now. And those typically take a couple weeks. So once those are over, then you can look again and kind of see what's going on.
So how often would you suggest people like take a peek at those Google rankings then? If it's not daily, what is
Yeah.
like a good
I would say monthly,
okay.
like at the most. Occasionally, when I'm working with SEO coaching students, I am looking at biweekly because that's when our calls are. Sometimes you can see changes biweekly, and the good thing is like I'm looking and reading those and then translating the results. So it's easier than like my clients or my students looking at them and then freaking out about X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
So we can talk through what's happening and why it's happening. And sometimes it's like, oh, you moved 3 spots. Like that's not impactful enough to make a huge difference. It can feel scary sometimes when you're in an industry again that focuses on the vanity metrics
Mhm.
of, oh, I'm position 1.
You're like their SEO therapist in those
Yeah.
meetings.
Yeah, it's like take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. We're moving in the right direction. So that's one. Another one is views. So Google Analytics actually changed the way the platform worked a while back, and they transitioned everything from views to more like engagement metrics. So that's a really good thing because just because you're focusing on the views, like how many views did my blog post get? Like, oh, I'm getting this much traffic to my website. Are you actually looking at things like key conversions? Like, are people taking action on that blog post? Or are people engaging with it? Like, what's your engagement rate with that blog post? How much time are people spending on your website? Those metrics are way more important than just looking at the views of your
Mhm.
blog.
This reminds me of that one client that you had. I can't remember if it was like a home client or something, and they were working with somebody
Mm. The
and
kitchen
the
remodels.
kitchen,
Yeah.
yes, yes. It's like that blog had tons of views, right?
Yeah. So they
But
were a luxury kitchen remodeler, and the SEO bro
mhm,
wanted them to write a post on how to DIY your kitchen cabinets, which does not make sense for a
mm-mm,
luxury remodeler. Like that is not going to be your ideal audience. So yes, it drove tons of traffic.
but no
Yeah,
conversions.
but no conversions because those people that are DIYing their kitchen cabinet aren't investing tons of money on luxury cabinet installation. They're going
Mhm.
to do it
Yeah.
themselves.
So like that's always such a prime example of
Hmm.
like what exactly that means.
Oh
Like
yeah.
sure views can be great, but if they don't convert, then this like what's the point?
Yeah. It's the same reason why you shouldn't get hung up on people on Instagram and TikTok and talking about this is how much traffic I get to my website
Mhm.
and blah blah blah. It's the same. I mean, it's like people saying, "Oh, I make 6 figures every month." Like people talking about that kind of stuff. You don't see the back end of that
Right.
and you don't
Like
know like, okay, how much are they spending every month?
right.
How
Or
many
are you
people are on their
sleeping?
team?
Or
Yeah.
what is your mental state
Yeah.
like? Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much you don't see. So just be aware of the vanity metrics of just overall traffic without anything else associated with it. And then some more vanity metrics are things like, again, page views and impressions. So seeing really high impressions can feel really good, but that doesn't mean it's going to lead to growth. Impressions, so if you're in Google Search Console and you see those two things showing there for word keywords and pages, it'll show you both clicks and impressions. Awesome. I love it when we see like spikes in impressions, but that means that we use that as a guide to take action. We don't
Mhm.
use that as like, sweet, a lot of people are seeing our content. We need that to translate into clicks. So, if anything, that metric isn't one just to write down a note, it's one to actually take action on and know, like, oh, okay, this is a keyword that's gaining traction. This is a blog post that's getting like noticed online. So, now how can I drive more clicks? Like, what do I need to do to make changes to it? So these are some vanity metrics, what not to rely on. So let's talk about what you should rely on and what actually really tells the real story of your SEO growth and how you're performing. So, one is your organic traffic growth. Is this trending up month over month? I don't want you looking daily, weekly at specific blogs. I want overall website. How is your traffic trending? I also don't want you to compare this year to last year right now.
Ooh, that's hard.
I know. So that's typically what we always do, right? Because then you get same time period, especially if you're in a seasonal business. You tend to not want to compare like these 3 months to the last 3 months because, say, summer's your busy season,
Mhm.
or you're coming up in your busy season and summer was your slow season. So that can be kind of tricky. But the big thing when looking at this year compared to last year is that AI has changed the traffic game.
So much.
There's a lot of zero clicks now.
Mhm.
So typically, if you're going to compare this year to last year, you're going to see a decrease in clicks and an increase in impressions. Almost every client, every student, like everyone I work with sees this. It is very consistent. There are rare cases where that doesn't happen, but for the most part, I'm seeing that. And it's not a bad thing. Again, this is why these are vanity metrics,
Mhm.
because a lot of times getting in those AI overviews, it means you're performing really well. You're getting that brand awareness, you're getting that brand presence. It's just not translating to clicks. That's still okay. Like gaining brand awareness, one, in Google's eyes, is a really good thing. But two, people are going to start remembering you. Like, remember that favicon for your website now is really prominent. Your brand name is really prominent. So when you get featured in an AI overview, people might start to notice
Or
your
they might
brand.
start to follow along too. Like that maybe they'll pop over to your social and
Mhm.
start following you there. It doesn't mean that you've lost them or that like just because they didn't click, it's all about that brand awareness. Like you're going to stick to the top of their head because they've learned something from you.
Yeah, for sure. And also, we just talked about this the other day in our SEO squeeze. So if you're not in our email list, we send out an email every Sunday. Most Sundays, let's be honest, there have been a few where I have been way too exhausted to do so, and that's all right. But most Sundays, we send out a little quick 5-minute tip for SEO. And so the other day, I was just looking on Google at our business, and I noticed that our favicon was like a very bland color. Like it
Mm.
was a
Just
cute,
recently?
yeah, it was actually, we were using the dancing girls emoji,
Yes.
but it was white. So the background was white with just a dancing girls emoji. And think
Oh.
about the Google like landscape. It's all white and black, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it doesn't really pop. So then I was like, oh, let's change this so that it's really noticeable on a Google search page. So now it has the orange background and the peace sign.
Mhm.
And so it kind of grabs your attention. It really pops on a Google search page. And that is really beneficial if you're showing up in those AI overviews. People are going
Mhm.
to notice your brand. So take a look at what your favicon looks like and kind of see, like, do I stand out? Like, are people going to notice my brand if I'm featured up
Mhm.
there? So that's really important. So, number one, just looking overall at your traffic growth. So, you can do this with Google Search Console, which is specifically your Google traffic. You can also do this with Bing Webmasters, which is your traffic on Bing. So, both of these are free tools we talk about all the time. You should have both, and you can kind of zoom out at the last 3 months, 6 months to a year, kind of see how things are trending. And again, if impressions are growing but clicks are down, remember that that's a very normal thing to see
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
The second one is keyword visibility. So I'm going to break down kind of what this is, but this is really important if you create consistent content. So we want to see you index for more keywords as you create more content. So how many keywords does Google know you for? The more keywords in content you have created, the more opportunities you have to show up. So this is one of the reasons why people who don't have blogs, this is why we talk about how impactful a blog can
I
be.
was just gonna say, so when you say content, obviously the first thing I think of is blog content. That's the easiest form of content, I would assume, to constantly have consistency within your site. But if somebody doesn't have a blog, or they do have a blog and they want to think of other ways to add content to their site consistently, what is that recommendation from the SEO expert?
Portfolios can do it. Like you're going to, like, if you're creating like sales pages or how-to guides and you don't want them under a blog, like sometimes people have resources and guides and things that are linked in their navigation too. And that can be fine. Eventually you're going to get burnt out though.
Yeah.
And that the core navigation of your website, you don't want to make it so that there's so many clicks and it's so confusing and like it's not easy to navigate, because that's also bad for SEO. So you're going to get to a point where you run out of ideas and you run out of content.
Ways to update your website with new content outside of a blog.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of times where you realize that your customers are asking a question. There's no other way for you to answer it other than create a blog. Or like, okay, fine, you don't like blogging, then do a podcast.
You have a podcast
if
and
you
you
like
have
to
show
talk about it.
notes.
Yeah, you have show notes and you write those show notes in a blog format. And if you even hate doing that, then outsource that.
Yep.
There's plenty of people that will take your podcast and turn them into show notes that are actually written like a blog to drive traffic. So if like blogs are something, I mean, I think most people that tune into our world understand the power of blogs, but I always tell people that if you don't understand the power of it, please challenge me, because I feel like every single person can have a blog.
Blogging is not dead.
No, yeah, not at all. So making sure that you are showing up for a lot of keywords. A lot of times when we get inquiry calls for people who need help with SEO, and then we go and look at, okay, how much traffic are they getting now? The second thing we look at is how many keywords are they known for? And a lot of times I'll look and it'll be like 0 traffic. They've got 5 keywords. And you sit there and think, no, I spent so much time putting all this effort and energy into the copy on my website and all the pages.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. So it could just mean Google doesn't know about you. So that's what Google Search Console is for. Or it could mean the words that you used on your website aren't words people are searching for.
You think they're the words that people are searching for, but they're not necessarily.
Yes. Or you don't have enough words. Like there's only so much that Google is going to crawl and cache on your main pages. You need to create content. You need to demonstrate your expertise. Like think of Google as an individual that you want to buy your service or buy your product. How are you going to convince Google that you know what you're talking about, that you're good at what you do? You're going to create content that showcases that. Like that's the same. It's the same thing. You're serving your audience, and just imagine Mr. Google is also your audience.
I could just I'm sitting here looking at you and I'm like, she should dress up as Mr. Google for Halloween.
I should.
And then I could.
How do you dress up like Mr. Google?
Oh, I would figure something out for you. Trust me.
Put me a mood board together.
Will do. Put it in the show notes.
Put it in the show notes. Oh gosh. So if you're wondering how to see how many keywords you index for, you can use Google Search Console, because that will actually show you the keywords that people are typing in and seeing you. So are you seeing clicks or impressions for those keywords? That will show you that. But you can also use Ubersuggest, SEMrush, Ahrefs. Again, all of those tools will tell you how many keywords you're indexed for. But remember, Google Search Console is exact. That is where your website showed up on a Google page for that keyword, whether they clicked or just saw you on the search page. And then remember too that more isn't always better. So your keyword number is going to vary. Like, okay, Google knows us for 130 keywords today. Maybe in a few months, it's going to know us for only 109. Like sometimes things dip, old content drops off, keywords drop off. Like that's normal and that happens. We do want you to consistently be growing. If you are creating content consistently and your keywords are dropping, something's wrong. So like that's a overall trend and a sign that something's happening. If it's growing consistently, then great, it's working. And then the next thing that is going to help tell the real story is actually seeing conversions from tracking from your organic traffic. So this is where like just measuring traffic is a vanity metric, right? Because is that traffic actually doing something? So this is where you can go one step further and you can ask, okay, are people filling out my contact form? If they are, where did they come from? Are they downloading my free resource? Are they booking a service? Are they buying a product? So there's so many different conversion metrics you can do. And a lot of times people avoid this because it's one step further than just downloading Google Analytics. So this requires Google Tag Manager, which is a separate Google tool. So I know we have Google Search Console, we have Google Analytics, we have Google Tag Manager, we have all of these Google tools. Oh, you have your Google Business Profile, which is your maps.
Each one of us on our team could be a Google
We
character.
could. Court's still over
You
here
are
thinking about
Google,
Halloween.
and then like I'm Google Tag Manager. Heidi is
No, we
whatever.
have to give it to you all based on personalities. Oh, that would be
Okay, which
fun.
one would you? What would I be?
I don't
Which
know.
Google tool?
Now I need to think. Google Tag is the most analytical. I feel
Oh,
like I
that
would
is
have to be
not
a
me.
tag. I feel like you would have to be, you'd be the maps. You'd
Hmm.
be like the local party fun.
Ooh,
Like
okay.
people need to go on the map to find you.
I
That
like
would
that.
be you.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah.
Done
Well,
and
there
done.
we go. Mood boards expanding.
That's great.
So yeah, you using Google Tag Manager, again, another free tool, all free. So you connect this with your Google Analytics. So they work together. And then once you set it up, there's some conversion tracking that you can do to track these key events. So you can see, did someone fill out a form? Did someone download this freebie? Did someone sign up for my newsletter? And then you can even just track clicks. If you're like, did someone click on this button? Did someone watch this video all the way through? Like there's so many different conversion things you can do in here. It can feel a little bit tricky. So one of the things that we have included in SEO on Tap is a new tutorial that actually shows you us setting this up for a variety of our clients and all of the different conversion tracking things that we've set up for them.
So other than it being maybe a little bit of a learning curve on like how to use it, essentially, everybody should have Google Tag Manager. I mean, if you want to get deeper in your analytics and seeing if people are actually converting on your website or how they're converting, essentially.
Yep. So it's not just like, okay, when we meet, and this isn't something we always used to offer with our SEO audits, but we've just started including it now specifically for service-based businesses because there's not as many tags and conversion metrics that you have to set up because there's usually a contact form or a few email downloads. This can get a little bit more complex when it comes to product businesses. And the good thing with that is that a lot of times Shopify gives you that data. Like Shopify lets you know if people purchased the product and where they came from.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily need as deep of data, but we don't get to see that usually from a contact form. And of course, like we have Dubsado, and Dubsado we do have a question on our form that says, where did you come from? But sometimes people forget and it doesn't always tell the full picture, or sometimes people just don't fill it out. So it can be even cooler to see that granular level of detail. And we definitely can't see that level of detail in Flowdesk Analytics from an email marketing conversion. So it's really cool to get that extra layer. So being able to actually go into your Google Analytics at the end and say, okay, organic search, how many key events have happened from there? Okay, we know within the last 30 days, 10 people signed up for this email download from search. Or maybe you uncovered that email downloads are working really well from Pinterest. Now you're actually seeing, oh, Pinterest is performing really well. I should really promote this more on Pinterest. So it's not just about SEO. It's actually looking at deeper conversion metrics than just traffic.
And where you should be focusing or like putting your marketing efforts if it's, you've been pouring it over here, but actually it's coming from Pinterest or whatever.
Yeah. So this is actually a new video that we've created because Lauren and I, as we're doing this for our clients, every single time we're having conversations and we're like, okay, how should we set this one up? How do we test this one? Because they're all a little bit tricky depending on the website platform, what form you're using, how you put the conversion tracking on a button. So we decided that we are going to create a tutorial with all of these different examples because for me, what helps me the best is being able to physically watch someone set it up and pause and follow the steps. And so I was like, why don't we just do this? And honestly, it's going to help us too, because we forget like, oh, we set up one on Squarespace with this system a long time ago. I don't remember. I'm going to go watch that video.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not doing it every day.
Yes. Yeah. So it can feel really overwhelming, but we're hopefully making a tutorial that is going to be super clear and easy for you to walk through. So we're really excited about that. And then finally, the last thing is your domain authority. So we've talked about this a number of times, but this is the biggest sign that your SEO is working. It should be growing year over year. It might take a whole year to increase a number, and that's okay, but it should just be growing overall. I get this question a lot too of like, what's a good domain authority?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really hard thing to answer because it depends on how long you've been around. So if you're brand new, your domain authority is going to be low.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like longevity is part of the metric. So you can't do anything to change that.
Mm-hmm.
But you, as you create content, as you drive more traffic, as you grow your backlinks, as you index more keywords, all of those things are going to help your domain authority grow. And as long as this number is growing year over year and it's not going backwards, then you know that you're moving in the right direction.
I feel like this could be one of those like vanity metrics too, kind of like people want their number to be high, obviously, but you have to work for it. It's not a thing that's just going to grow without you putting any sort of resources or time or content out into your website, right? So I know it's just funny when you look at domain authority, and sometimes I'm even like, how do we get higher? What do we do? It's like a number that you could just like keep going back to, but it's like you said, one of the hardest ones to grow, and I feel like one of the slowest ones to grow.
It is so painfully slow. So it's one of those things where you can use it as a vanity metric, but kind of not really because
true, because it's so slow.
It moves so slow.
But it's one of those things where you're like, I just want to be 99.
Yeah, right. And please don't have that ever be your goal because that's like YouTube is 99. Like, I'm sorry, but we're not on the same level of trying to get billions and billions of traffic hits and
curious,
keywords
like,
and content.
Other than YouTube, like what's the next, like kind of like those
Facebook, Google, YouTube. There's like, it's like really, really big companies. You can look it up. I think there's like a domain authority list that you can Google and check it out. But you can also check yours. So if you go, we'll link the free tool, but Moz has a free domain authority tracker so that you can actually see. And then you can also, if you're like, okay, I want to see like what was mine last year, you can use Ubersuggest and change the date to go back and look at your metrics from a few years ago.
How you've grown.
Yeah.
And don't let this number like discourage you either. I feel like when I'm on calls with you sometimes and clients do ask about that and they see their number, they're like, oh, and it's like, no. Don't let it get you down because
Usually if I like the most excitement I have is when I have like a brand new business and a brand new website and they're like zeros across the board. I'm like, yes, this is going to be so fun. Like
we're going to grow
these.
Yeah,
it's just an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, don't worry about it. And also keeping in mind that like the competitors that you work with, like make sure you have like-minded competitors that are in the same season of business as you. You're not trying to compete again with Facebook. Like you need to compete with people on your same level. So make sure you have realistic expectations.
Because sometimes you see that you see like people's competitors are actually it's not apples to apples.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for real. So one of the first things that we have all of our students do inside SEO on Tap is write down all of these metrics. How many keywords do you have indexed right now? How much organic traffic do you have regularly estimated monthly coming in? How many backlinks do you have? And what's your current domain authority? We have them write it all down in their tracker. And then you jump into the rest of the course. You do the optimizations, you work on some content. And typically 3 months later, we come back and we look at those metrics. And that's where you get really excited because you can see the real growth. And these metrics, again, they do go deeper. Like we can look beyond just traffic. We can look at the key conversions because we'll help you teach you how to set that up. So you can go deeper, but these are the trends that over time help tell a story that lets you take action from there. So we're so excited because we've made some really, really huge updates in SEO on Tap, and we are about to launch some crazy fun bonuses and just invite a whole bunch of new people to the course, and we couldn't be more excited for it.
Yay!
So we'll see you in there.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.